Hi everyone, welcome back to another video for PSO2 NGS. Today I'm just going to be continuing my series of going through all the locations of the Ryuker devices and region mags in each of the different regions. So in the last video we covered Alio, which is the region that you start in PSO2 NGS. And today we're going to look at the second region, which is Retem. So Retem's this desert region that you come to just after you finish the Alio part of story. Again, it's full of various different Ryuker devices for fast travel, and there's also region mags for getting various different buffs. So I'm just going to quickly go through all the locations of them just so you can quickly find them when you come to the Retem region. So the first one is the hub one, which is the Ryuker for Retem City, which is where I am now. So as soon as you come into Retem City, the Ryuker is just on the right as soon as you come in, just over here. So again, really easy one to find. Once you've got the Ryuker for Retem City, you may actually come across another Ryuker before you get to here, because I believe that when you enter the first part of the story in Retem, you actually come in from this bridge here. So the first one you'll actually come to is Sagan Mountain Road West. But this is the hub one for Retem City, just so you can see where it is on the map roughly. So it's quite far south. So if we go up to West Retem, so this would be where you actually come into the Retem region. So this is the Ryuker for Sagan Mountain Road West. So what you can see here is a bridge, and this bridge actually leads you over to Alio. So when you start the story for Retem, you'll actually cross this bridge and you'll come in here. I think you get this Ryuker device as soon as you start, as soon as you actually reach the Alio region. From here, there is one more in this region, which is Sagan Mountain Road East. For this one, essentially just follow the path. Again, I'm not going to worry about the enemies because they're all quite low level in comparison to me. But essentially you just want to follow this path. And eventually, once you've gone so far, you should start to see the Ryuker. Again, for the Ryukers, when you're first looking for them, you'll be looking for... So it's a blue tower, but it'll actually have a yellow light on top of it instead of a blue light. So a little bit more.
The live concert is on right now in Retem City.
So the Ryuker is actually up here. Now in Retem, there's a lot of these cliff faces that are very easily scalable. Quite often what you'll notice on the cliffs is that you'll have different coloured parts on the cliff. So you can see here, there's a section that's a much darker green colour. And this is an area you can climb very easily. So just climb up here. And you'll come up to this little alcove here, which is where the Sagan Mountain Road East Ryuker is. Next up, there is a region mag in this area as well. So again, the region mags give you various different buffs. This one gives you the attack potency buff. So essentially, once you're at this Ryuker, you just want to head south. So you just come over this little outcrop. And you can see the region mag there straight away. So it's a really easy one to find. So that there is the region mag for this area. So next up, if you're going to North Retem, there's one in Maraba Canyon. So from here you can just head east. And again, you can use a lot of the cliff faces to just vault off. They're quite easy to navigate, really. And you want to be looking for this area with all of these pathways here. This is the sign that you're in Maraba Canyon. And again, you just want to fly straight over. And just keep running east and you'll come straight to the Ryuker for Maraba Canyon. So that's this one here. So next up, There is a region mag again, more or less continually going east from here. So you can see on this cliff face here, there's these sort of green edged parts of the cliff, and that's a sign that you can climb them. You can climb a lot of the cliffs even without these, but these always seem to be a bit easier to climb. They're designed essentially like staircases. So again, just running east. And once you get to this area here, you'll be able to see the Ryuker on the map. So it's actually just on this alcove up here. So again, just climb the cliffs. Ryuker is quite, Retem is quite a vertical region really. There is a lot of climbing, particularly in comparison to earlier. So when you come here, that's the region mag for North Retem. And from here, there is another Ryuker slightly north of here. So again, if you just float straight over north, you can see it straight away, and this is the Ryuker for, I believe this is the one for Cape Keenlad. So you can see we're now here, and this was the region mag that we've just come from. If you look east from here, you can see the tower over there as well, so if you want to get the Trinitas tower, that's where it is. So next up is the Ryuker for Trinitas. So there's a couple of ways to get to this. You can run south from here. I think the easiest way is probably to run south from Maraba Canyon. You can also go north from Retem City. So if I go to Maraba Canyon. So Trinitas is the huge pyramid structure that you can see in the distance there. So we're essentially heading towards that. So again, just floating straight over the canyon. And straight over here. And we should be just coming up to it now. There we go. So this is the Ryuker for the Trinitas region. So it's fairly close to the actual Trinitas pyramid. That pyramid is what you use for the Geometric Labyrinth. The entrance to get into that is in a completely different place though. I might show that later on. So that's the Trinitas Ryuker. From here, there's another one in Oasis in central Retem. So for this one, there's a couple of ways to get to it. You can either run southwest from Sigan Mountain Road or southwest from here. So I'll run southwest from here since I'm here anyway. So geographically, Retem's a lot different to earlier. There's a lot more vertical climbing, but there is quite a lot of large open areas as well, like this one. So this next one's quite easy to find. Essentially, you want to be looking for the cluster of trees. You might be able to see the Ryuker in the distance just over there. There is essentially, as the name implies, there is an oasis in the middle of the desert. Yeah, so you can see here, there's all this cluster of trees. When you get over here, you'll see there's actually like a little pool of water as well, which is the oasis. And this is the Ryuker device for the oasis area. So next up, I am just going to kill this just so I can move. So from here, the next one is, this is quite a difficult one to find actually. So it's for Stechkin Lowlands. So it looks like it's just west from here. But what you'll quickly realise is that there's a massive cliff face. Now from here you can actually see it, so if you look up in the cliff area, you might be able to see, pretty much just directly north of my character there, you can see there is a Ryuker on the cliffside, and that's the Stechkin Lowlands Ryuker. It is actually one of the more difficult ones to get to, just because there is a lot of climbing to get to it. So and there's no obvious way to climb this as well. Well, thankfully, the cliff faces in Retem are usually fairly easy to climb. There's quite a lot of sort of footholds on them. So there you go. So that's how you get to that one. And this is for Stechkin Lowlands. So after this, so down to the south half of the Retem region now. So the next one is for Retem Alnoth. So Retem Alnoth is one of your combat zones in Retem. So from here, just head due south. You'll see Retem Alnoth very obvious because it looks completely different to any other area in Retem. So you can see, if you look over this way, you can see there's this massive built-up structure, and that's Retem Alnoth. So once you can see this, you know you're heading in the right direction. So as I've said, Retem Alnoth is one of your 2 combat zones in Retem. So in earlier you had 3 combat zones, but there are only 2 in Retem. And you can see the Ryuker is just on the outskirts of Retem Alnoth. So this is your Ryuker. Once you've got this one, the next one is Golna Coast West. So again, from here, just run more or less south. I do find that the Retem Ryuker devices are fairly easy to get overall. So we are more or less just running straight south. So Golna Coast, which is where we're going to, has 2 Ryuker devices. There's a western one and there's also the eastern Ryuker as well. But they are quite far apart. So again, just keep heading. I'm trying to keep it as straight as possible, so you more or less go straight south and it's right here. So it is right on the coast of Retem. So this is Golna Coast West. And from here, the next one is Golna Coast East. 2 ways to get to this. You can either just run east from here, it'll also bring you to the region mag, or you can go south from Retem City. So I'll run east from here just so I can show you where the region mag is as well. So you're essentially just following the coastline. If you need photon scales, there are some collection points for photon scales along this coast as well. There's not many of them, but they are there. So you might be able to see the Ryuker device and the region mag actually in the distance. So you've got the Ryuker devices more or less straight ahead, and then the region mag is just on the little sort of rocky outcrops on the actual water. So again, you can swim over. The game's quite generous with how far you can actually go out on the coast. So don't feel you have to go right near the actual coastline and attract all the enemies. You can just go through the actual water instead. So again, straight over here, and this is your next region mag. Just here. And from the region mag, if you just look over to the northeast, you can see the next Ryuker device as well. So just up this hill this is the Ryuker device for Golna Coast East. And next up is the Ryuker device for, now I'm going to try and pronounce this, I think it's Rumaquad, or Rumaquad. So this one, you can just head east from this Ryuker device here. Essentially, Rumaquad is this huge rocky area here with the sand pouring off it. That is Rumaquad. And it's also the way you get to your next combat zone as well. So again, just keep heading east. eventually you'll come to like it's a bit like a canyon really. So you can see there is a cocoon down the bottom there. If you just follow this path round the edge of the drop, you can just see it in the distance over there. So again, just keep following the path, and eventually you'll come straight to it. So this is the Ryuker device for Rumor Quad. Apologies if I'm mispronouncing that, it's a really strange spelling. So from here, your next combat zone is here, which is a quad low level. However, you can't actually see the Ryuker from here at all. The reason for that is because at the top of Rumor Quad there's a massive hole, and you need to fall into that hole to get to Quad lower level. So what you need to do is climb to the top of Rumor Quad first. Do need to be a little bit careful because we've got a sandstorm, so there's a Gigantics on the map. But essentially just take the updrafters as high as you can go. And this will lead you to your second combat zone. So again, there are only 2 combat zones in Retem. You've got Retem Al Noth and Quad lower levels. So just keep climbing, and eventually you'll get to this summit. There's a few things about this summit. So first of all, there are a lot of gathering nodes around here, mainly for tetrasite. There's also a lot of these trees that have strawberries on them as well. Now, in the middle of all this, there is a massive hole down there. There's also another little secret with this area, which is these spires that stick out of the ground. If you jump on them, the music will fade out and it'll play the PSO2 NGS main theme. There's a few locations on the map that do this with different music tracks. So they're just like little secrets. Usually really high vantage points have them. So essentially, once you've got to here, all you need to do then is just jump down the hole. And it'll bring you straight into Rumor Quad. So once you're in Rumor Quad, you basically just want to turn to the east. And the Ryuker device is just on this ledge up here. But this is your second combat zone. You can see if you look up there, that's where you come from. So again, this is your Ryuker device for Quad low levels. So that covers all of the Ryuker devices for the Retem region. The other one to be aware of is the entrance to the Geometric Labyrinth. Now, I believe that it's along this coastline somewhere. So I think if I teleport to the Rumor Quad Ryuker device and just go north from here, I believe there's an entrance along this coastline somewhere.
Emergency announcement. We are preparing for a defensive operation against a large number of dolls appearing in the Retem region. All ARCS defenders, please prepare for deployment.
It's kind of hard to see at the minute because of all the sandstorm, which isn't really making it any easier. But somewhere along here there's a little entrance in the cliff face, because you actually access this pyramid from below. Again, just trying to keep near the cliff face. We also have the yellow battle deer there, just on the coast. Hopefully I can find this entrance because it's not somewhere I go very often. Essentially just try and keep to the coastline. I'm just looking for an entrance in the cliff face. I think this may be it here. Yeah. So when you get so far up the cliff face, just on the map so you can see where this is. So just here. This entrance in the cliff face here, if you're running here. Takes you underground. And this is actually going to take you, if you look on the map, it actually takes you directly underneath the pyramid. So once you get down to here, you can see this massive entrance door. And this is where you actually enter the Geometric Labyrinth. So you can see that this is how you actually enter it. So you enter it from here. So I think that covers all of the Ryuker devices and the region mags in the Retem region. So as I've said previously, I will do further videos that cover the Kavaris region and the Stia region. I'm also going to do a video at some point on the new class, the new Slayer class as well. I'm currently in the stages of leveling it, and once I've had a play around with it, I'll be able to do a video on that just to go through how the class plays. But in the meantime, that's everything for this video. I hope it's been useful to anyone trying to find a way around the Retem region. I will do another video for Kavaris next, probably within the next week or so. In the meantime, if you've got any questions or anything, just leave them in the comments below. Happy to answer any questions about PSO2 NGS. And in the meantime, I will leave this on here. Any questions, just leave them below. And I will see you all in the next video. Thanks, guys.